And we're back with another outstanding episode of the 30 Days That Suck series. Today we're joined by Groovy Lava Squirrel Medic from YouTube. What's up, buddy?
Ahoy, ahoy. How are you doing today, man?
Pretty good. I guess we're all on YouTube, so it's kind of a silly thing to say, but today we're going to talk about bureaucracy. And I know I'm eating Burger King. I just got up like, I don't know, probably 20 minutes ago. It was like, if you guys follow the show, usually we did a late night show last night, like late. So like, we're just having fun, man. We're just rocking it.
And you're wearing a headband. You're wearing a headband for International Headband/Bandana Month. So
This motherfucker made it a whole month. I told him I'd do it for today just because he's on. I respect him. I'm not going to wear this thing the whole month. It's not happening. I'm a hat wearing guy. I'm a hat. You know me, I got hats. But since our boy's up here, I'm wearing the headband for it. This is actually a neck gaiter I got in the Virgin Islands. And I've never used it. I never used it at all. My friend bought it for me and I just never used it. Got like two of them.
So I'm loving this series, man. Every day, just something. And it's weird how much that we always like see things the same way about just stuff that we hate or stuff that annoys the fuck out of us. It's just funny.
This Westbrook getting paid $40 million to play basketball counts as bureaucracy. I'll tell you what, it does actually. And I want the opportunity someday to opt in to like $47 million. Just, oh yeah, I'll take that $47 million, no problem. You know what I mean?
I just need to be like a kicker on like an NFL team, but like a fourth string kicker and just get paid like $2 million a year.
There's a guy named Chase Daniel. If he went to the University of Missouri, he's been a backup his whole career. He's never started. He's only played like 5 games. The guy's got like $45 million his whole career in like total salary and shit. Fucking genius, bro. Mark Brunell did the same thing. It's not about if you're out there getting rich. That was kind of a sidetrack, but I mean, it goes along with the bureaucracy theme a little bit. If you're out there getting rich, it's not always about being the best. Sometimes there's other people who got to do. Somebody's got to clean up the shit. And the best shit cleaner in the world is probably making $150,000 a year or more. Who knows?
That's true. And Mick T, I am not hungover. I've already went to the gym and everything this morning, man. I'm feeling great.
Yeah, I don't drink. I just got up and I'm just rocking it, man. I wish I could. No, I don't say I wish I could be hungover because I've been hungover before. That's probably why I couldn't drink it was hungovers. Like if there was no hangovers, I'd be slowly drinking, dude. There's
I don't know, man. I just going with water now. I get water hangovers now where I just wake up all night peeing.
That's the thing, dude. I love drinking water, but man, I hate going to the bathroom every fucking 20 minutes. I don't like it, especially when on a stream like this. I've been. No, I don't have to go right now, but like. I got a coffee here and some iced tea stuff. I guarantee you, 20 minutes after the stream, we're like, oh, we got to run pee. Fucking ridiculous. So, did you grow up around any government? Did your dad work for any kind of government place? What was your first introduction to like bureaucracy and shit like that?
So my dad, when I was born, he was in the Navy, and he has worked for government entities. After he got out of the Navy. He has been in government like jobs ever since. But as a kid, I really didn't pay attention to that stuff. My first time of like seeing bureaucracy was when I joined the military, man. That's where like when I went to MEPS, everybody loves MEPS, but it is just a constant like a step upon step, and then somebody's got to approve something, and then somebody else has to approve something. Instead of just making it easy and just streamlined, the government and the military tends to have everything just multiple. I think it's just job security. I think people are just holding on to a job, and they're just a cog in the machine, and it's insane.
DOD, and I work for the VAs. I'm not going to talk to you about the agency, but like DOD especially, dude. There's so much. This is always the way we've done it. This is the way we're always going to do it. And man, there is just such levels of everything. Like there's levels of stuff you can't even comprehend. Like they'll just make like when I was in the service, when I was in the Air Force, the Guard there, they made up this thing called the God, what do they call it? ATSEV, Air Terminal Evaluation. And basically what it was they just took 3 guys from each section, made them a review team. They didn't do nothing in the trouble but evaluate every other people. It's just, they had the same AFSC, Air Force Specialty Code as the rest of the people. Why were these guys doing stuff when we don't really have the workload to do? Why don't we do other shit? It makes no sense.
Well, I mean, it's simple. I mean, even the simple stuff like to turn in a leave form, the basic military leave form. One, for some reason, it has to go to 37 different people. 37 people. And then you never know what step you're on. And then you're constantly checking in like, hey, my leave, is it approved? And when I first joined, it wasn't even electronic. We had to do the triplicate, like the carbon copies and everything. And I'm like, who does this go to? All it takes is for somebody to fill out a leave form, go to the commander, say, I want to take leave. They have accountability. Then it goes to S1. That's it. Nowadays, it's all electronic, and it goes to, and I was looking at the route of what it goes to because you can track it electronically now. I have 14 people it had to go to before my leave got approved. I'm like, you are out of your fucking mind.
14. Yeah, dude, I'll tell you what, that's one thing the civilian side does so much easier than the military side. Like for me to take leave, I literally just text my boss, hey, this is going on, keep putting leave for me, boom, it's done. That's it. The service, do you remember, do you guys still have DTS on the travel with? Oh, yes. My God. So for those who don't know what we're talking about, there's this program called Defense Travel System. So say Groovy or me, we're on active duty and we ought to go to Korea for the war or whatever. Or whatever. We have to fill out a travel voucher. People are familiar with travel vouchers, they're fine. But travel vouchers and DTS might be the reason why a lot of people got out. And I know people are thinking, wow, you guys would get out because of a travel voucher program? Yeah, it's that bad. There was I don't know how it is now, but they used to have you'd have to initial everything, and you couldn't, like, this is when it first came out. They constantly changed it. That's the thing with the services, that everybody wants to bring in their new program. Oh, this is the process improvement, and half the time it just fucks up the old shit because they got to piggyback in the old program, and it just brings more job security in the mix. But when I first saw that, you used to have to type in your full name, like Joseph.J.Varel, and if you didn't do all that, you had to go back and change it in every single entry. And it took you like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and they would kick you back for like, oh, you didn't do this over here. And
you put it in block 9 instead of block 10. Oh. It was ridiculous. But now, DTS in the military, now you have the government travel cards, right? The credit cards. It used to be an option. Now everything it's mandatory. So like when you are to PCS or anything, you used to get like a chunk of change so you could like get your first month rent and everything. Mm-hmm. Now it's all by the government credit card. So you have to do training, at least 5 hours of training
every year.
How to have a credit card. And
we have to still do that in the VA. Actually, that's something they get rid of. We still have to do charge card training, but it's a half hour. It's a fucking click through. It's not bad.
And then it comes down to when you get to your place, you have to check in. Then you have to go to that DTS office, that finance office, get it changed over in the system to their system because, it can't talk from one post to another. And then you have to get the bill in the mail. Then you have the email. Then you have to pay it back. And then you take it into the finance office, said, yes, it's clear, it's paid back. Now give me my money. So you're not actually saving any money. It's coming out of pocket first. And then the military will give you money to pay back what you already paid. I'm like, how about you just give me my fucking money?
Oh, dude, we had so many issues. And I'll tell you, if you want to look into a program that probably has the most either fraud and abuse on both sides, it's probably the government charge card program. Because, like, dude, when we first got in, they had the government American Express. Standard American Express. It was a cool looking card. I mean, American Express looks cool. And that lasted about 3-4 years. And then I couldn't tell you how many different vendors we had. I mean, if you think of a big bank, the government went through them. We had Chase at one time. Then there was
it's still Chase. It's Chase now.
It's a Chase. Okay. So that was the one that, but it was Bank of America for quite a while. You might remember that. And it's they would actually have delays in the system, dude, and they wouldn't pay people on time. And these people are like young guys, they ain't got no money to pay this shit back, their credit cards. So like they're getting dings from their credit reports when the money's not even in from the government yet, dude. What is up with that, man? Did you guys have anything like that?
We had a lot of problems where because it's all electronic, you're going on the bank, you have to log on to Chase, and then heaven forbid you forget your password. Because it's not one of those things where you can go and just like forget password and they send you an email. It has to go to your commander. The commander has to sign and say, yes, this is him. Give him the password so it can log on. So heaven forbid you are on TDY, you're out of town, and you have to log into the bank or something. And fuck, I can't remember the password. and then you have to wait. Oh God, if it's a weekend, you are fucked. And then have the commander go, because it had to be an email and it had to be a verified signature email. Again, bureaucracy. Like, they expect you to act like adults. They expect you to do all this stuff. And as an adult, you should remember your password. But let's be real. We have 50,000 passwords, 50 different things for every single website, because it's like, oh, you have to change it every 3 months. All my passwords are the same. So if you figure out my password in one, you know them all.
Well,
But
it is impossible to figure out government passwords. When I first got in, it was whatever, it wasn't too bad with the passwords. And then the CAC, kind of took over a lot of this stuff. But then they started having passwords. When I got out, honestly, there wasn't too many passwords left. But like the passwords you had to have, it couldn't be any word in the dictionary. It had to be between 15 and 30 characters long. It had to have 3 capital letters, 3 small letters, 3 special characters. And it was to the point where you had to have a degree.
don't forget the numbers. Don't forget the numbers.
Yeah, 3 numbers too. Yeah, so 15 code. I don't want to say what my standard password is because it's probably still my password for everything. But yeah, you have the password for everything. You know how it is. It just fuck it. I mean, the more and the VA, I still got probably a good 20 password list, at least maybe 30. I don't even know at this point. It was a lot higher when I was in the call center, but there's still a significant amount of password lists. How many passwords did you have when you last logged onto your work terminal in the service?
I have, because I'm going to have to go back in sometime next week, because I got to make sure to check my email, like close everything out and say, okay, I'm officially out. If you want to email me, here's my personal. But I have 13 different passwords I have to log on to different things for different programs, because again, they changed the email system. It used to be like travis.lander@us.army.mil.
That's all it was.
And then it's travis.c.lander@mil@mail.mil. And there's so many different things because they keep changing these systems, and they expect everything. They expect you to keep up with everything. That's why I like my home computer, man. If somebody was breaking into my house, go on my home computer, all my passwords and shit are saved. I just click on a website, bam, and it pops up.
Right, Google Save, yeah.
Fuck the whole having to figure. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cuss so much. But yeah, screw that. I'm not going to sit there and mess with that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I was thinking of a point about with the email nomenclature. I remember that changed in so long. Like when I first got in, we used to use, it was like Joseph Doverell at oh.mans or ohmans.ang.af.mil. And then it changed. They wanted everybody to have .af.mil. That was actually the nice era when it was like just first dot last dot at af.mil. And then I don't know what it was when they got out, but it would with DOD because I work in downtown. We got DFAS in the same building, so like sometimes we'll email DFAS, and their emails are like first dot last at civ.mail.mil. It's just so like, why is there so many dots? Man, what's up with your server? Why is your base so long? What the fuck? I don't like it.
But I mean, that's the simple thing. And we talk about bureaucracy because like where I finished my service, I was at Fort Sam, which is actually controlled by the Air Force. It's an Air Force base. It's a Joint Base San Antonio. But like the general, the post, and everything, they're all Air Force, right? So for us to do a work order, like our computers and stuff go down, we have to put it through the Army system, which then talks to the Air Force system, then have to get approved. And then you're talking about 2 or 3 days for Air Force, their IT people to come and fix stuff. And everything now is electronic. There's really no paper left in the military. Nope. It's all electronic. And now if your system is down, because of course, everybody, the military has to go with the cheapest system, which breaks all the fucking time. And so you're sitting here like, I thought the Air Force was like high class, but no, they're like, oh, this is the Army. Let's give them the shitty system. And then, hey, I'm sorry, you didn't do your information assurance training, your IA training. And guess what? Now your account's shut down. Now get 37 signatures on a piece of paper to turn in to say, yes, you are still this person. And now I can have my account back and unlock it. It is the most frustrating thing. And I'm telling you right now, that is one of the reasons, besides like mandatory vaccination stuff, that I decided, hey, it was time for me to get out. I could have gone past 20, but I'm like, nope, I'm done. There is so much bureaucracy. There is so much just bullshit that I'm just like, God, I cannot wait. And it is soured so many people on military service because I'm like, whatever happened to us going and doing our jobs, shooting people as medics, fixing people, working in a clinic and everything, and in the hospital is even worse. But all the stuff happens. I'm like, can you please just let us do our job? And that everybody's just tired of the bullshit, man.
Dude, for me, the passwords and everything was a lot of it. For me, the thing that made me realize it was time to go. Well, the fact I'm fucking old and I hit my 20, and once you're 20, you're kind of like, yeah, the motivation's not really there. But like, what's the mandatory briefings about their response to anything is another series of fucking briefings to tell you suck. Oh yeah, some guy shit in somebody's face over there in Korea, so now we're gonna have 5-hour classes on how not to shit in somebody's face. That's the kind of thing they would. And you're just sitting there, and I remember the last briefing I was standing up there. It was some kind of sexual assault thing or whatever. And this girl was they brought in some actress or whatever, some hip woke person to come in, and she was reading YouTube comments as fact about what guys think about. I was like, yep, I'm done. I'm out. This is the best decision I ever made. That was literally the last, because I just said hi and I went and sat down. And they were talking about. I was like, yeah, I ain't sitting around for this because I'm officially retired. I just went out and walked up. The mandatory classes are, or
the last mandatory class that I went to, and this is again where I decided, yeah, I'm done. And again, don't have any problems with anybody, but I had to sit through, I am not even joking, a 4-hour block of instruction on transgender in the military. And they told us, even if you don't agree with it or any of that stuff, you just have to, it's about respect. And I'm like, okay, I get that. And then they're like, well, if somebody goes to the gym and let's say a female that has a dick or whatever, if they go in the shower, let's say my daughter is there working out in the morning, she's 12 and she goes to the locker room to change before she has to go to school or something, and she has to see that. And they just told me legit, they're like, well, mostly it's cisgender males that have a problem with this, so you just need to, it's about respect and all that stuff. And I was like, you know what, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah, not to go down that path, but the whole even just the word cisgender, in my opinion, is kind of offensive if we're being real. Like we're the normative.
Like, just stop labeling people.
Right. Like the headbands are because Groovy Squirrel wants to make this headband month. So in solidarity with my boy here, I'm wearing a headband as well. There's no real reason. We're not rockers or anything. I mean, theoretically I'm a rocker style, but like I don't have no musical ability or whatever, so I can't really be a rocker when I don't know how to play guitar or drums or anything.
You want to know why I started this? Is because there are so many stupid days, and like this is National blah blah day or month or whatever, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna make my own. And I just got my new headband, and I was like, yeah, it's gonna be bandana headband month, and that's where it is. Just stupidity. People do like to define themselves, but that's the problem. You can define yourself, but stop trying to define other people. Just be who you are and accept people for who they are. And if you don't, just shut the fuck up and move on.
At the end of the day, you got to smoke a bunch of weed to get through the paperwork. I mean, it's a lot of paperwork. Like, we go back to maps. Just think about it. Think about the lines you were standing in, the place, the stations you had to go to. Oh, you got to fill out.
I had to bend over and show my butthole to an old man so we could look at it.
Right, dude. I've had the military's actually taken care of me health wise. I mean, they've Judge Webb was talking about flat feet earlier. My feet are actually. That's the thing with the service, dude. Is that lowest bidder stuff. I'm gonna tell you a little secret about government waste here. Okay, we go lowest bidder on all the boots. Every single pair of boots we get is lowest bidder. You can go out there and buy better boots, but they don't give you money for it. And the better boots are like back when I was in $150. They're probably like $300 now for a good pair of boots. You can get Converse for some of the services. They make nice boots.
I paid about $160 for a pair of boots every year. I wore one pair of boots like a year.
And because you're active duty every day. I was doing 1 week in a month, so I just wore the boots they gave me. Them boots fucked my feet up to the point where the VA has to compensate me now because my feet are just so jacked up. It's because we go lowest bidder in these uncomfortable boots, dude. It's ridiculous. If the government would spend a little bit more money on the front end, like, oh yeah, these are comfortable, this is good, they would save so much money on the back end in VA care. But I mean, what do you want? I mean, it's the vets like the service connected compensation, so I mean, it is what it is.
That is true, but that's another thing with bureaucracy, like me getting out, just to go for my VA appointments to get my rating and everything. Right, I didn't just have to go to one appointment to get everything done. I went to 7 different appointments in the same clinic.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I had one appointment that was outside the clinic that was at like an optometry place. I had to go back to this clinic 7 different times to get different exam for body parts. How about this? How about you just have one person that does the full body exam, so that way we can just get this shit done. We wasted so much time and stuff with appointments, and other people could have got in at this VA clinic and stuff if they would have just had one person do everything. It was 7 times I had to, and then just saving on gas and everything. But and guess what? I still don't know what my VA rating is. I'm not going to know for another month and a half until a week before, and then another bureaucracy thing. If I don't agree with it, I'm going to have to fight it. But I can't fight it until they actually give me the rating. I'm out. And then it's going through 50,000 different people, because the people at the VA that didn't actually do the exam or talk to me, they're like, oh, well, I rated as this. I'm like, motherfucker, I've been in 20 years. I am broken.
That's the thing with Service Connection. Web said I admitted to smoke weed. If I admitted to smoke weed more than twice, it wouldn't have been cleared in the list. I remember that we actually had a guy in basic. He said he smoked or didn't smoke, and then at the one like before we were leaving, he said he did smoke, and they said, "Oh, you can't be in the service. It's because of weed or whatever." It was ridiculous back then. Well, that was the '90s, obviously, and WEP was in the '80s. But yeah, the VA will typically be based on your body system. So if you got like arms, feet, back, everything, that'll be by the same guy. But like anything mental, different doctor. Hearing loss, different doctor. Teeth, different doctor. Eyes, different doctor. So that kind of stuff goes in there. But yeah, the front end stuff, and the reason why a lot of people have to go back for appointments is sometimes the medical opinion. And we got to be real about some of these VA docs. I mean, some of the contractors. I mean, again, they go with lowest bidders. So what they're going to do. This is probably, I don't know if we should talk about this, but fuck it, we're already going down this lane. A lot of these agencies, these doctors, some of them will want to keep the contract, and the way to keep your vets happy is to, oh yeah, let's say he has this, say he has this, So, and a lot of vets, there's a disconnect with the service organizations and the VA. Like they'll say, oh yeah, just apply for everything, and man, that really, really backlogs up the system because like. Say you were like, oh yeah, I'm applying for an exploded head, and you didn't know, damn well you didn't have an exploded head. You know what I mean? We still got to go through the motions and send you a letter. Oh yeah, show us evidence of your exploded head. Even though we have to go through every single motion for every single thing. You know what I mean? That delays us so much. There was this person, I'll give you an example, who didn't even serve at all. Just somebody who got drunk or high, made up a person. Like, oh yeah, I was in the service. And they sent in stuff, and they went through all the chain. It took about 18 months from start to finish to. By the time I got kicked back, you realize this guy wasn't in service. It's just the way it goes with claims coming in, bureaucracy, man. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, all my stuff, we just pulled out on medical records, went through everything that I could. I had 19 different claims, like back, knee surgery, stuff like that, ankle, shoulder, neck, and stuff like that. But those are all like quantitative stuff. So here's my biggest worry is all this stuff. I got these exams, I did all this stuff, did the range of motion, did my psychiatry version, all that stuff. And then it's going to get sent up, and somebody that I don't even know is going to look at these reports, look at these exams and stuff, and they're going to decide whether it's connected. And I'm like, it's in my medical record. So if any of it's not connected, then we have issues, and I just want my 100%, man. I just want my 100. Oh. I've earned it.
Everybody wants the 100% because that's tax free, baby. Yeah, I got 70, man. I'll tell you what. I started out, man. I filed my first claim back in 2011, and that's when the VA was really at the height of their backlog. It took them 2 years to deny everything, and then they finally granted like IBS on appeal, and then tinnitus on appeal a couple years later, and a couple years after that. I mean, it took 9 years for them start to finish for them to finish my claim, dude. 9 years start to finish.
Well, luckily I did mine early, so I had like 3 or 4 months before I actually got out. So that way, it's called the BDD program, the before discharge.
Benefits delivery at discharge. Yeah, the intent of that program is as soon as you get discharged, you get your benefits right after. It's seamless. Yeah.
So I did that way. I made sure to have my medical records, everything ready to go, doing the exams. But again, it's the bureaucracy of where it goes. I don't even know where it's at. I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to hear anything until the week before I retire. And they're like, well, then I'm like, well, what if I have an issue and I want to fight something? They're like, well, that's going to happen after. And I'm like, why don't we just get the rating now so we can be set. And if there's something I can do it, I'm still in the service. We can fucking go through it. But that's the bureaucracy of the system, man. I don't understand how it works that way.
Up until 09, the VA benefits agency, we were all paper until 09. When I was first came, they were still transition over. And I'm talking when I first started with the benefits, I started with the agency, but the whole VA back in 06 when I was still in the reserve. And then when they started the paper transition in 09, and I was still doing it in 2014 when I got my current job. And it took them a while. I would say we finally didn't get totally rid of paper until like 18 or 17. It was way late in the game, man. It was crazy as fuck, dude.
That was a Trump thing initiative, right? Like to try to get the VA working better for the soldiers and stuff and the vets.
Well, there was so every president has a different thing. Like you go back in 08, there was a shred scandal. What had happened was they had found like some 214s and just some PII that wasn't where it's supposed to be. It was a huge scandal. So like they had agency directors going through fucking shred bins and everything that we had to go through every single piece of paper. And that was in 08. And then Trump passed the VA Employees Accountability Act in 17, which was a complete farce, complete lark, honestly. They only fired 2 people, and the way they launched it was completely in counteraction with the bargaining agreements we got going on. So it was just,
but you agree with his idea of it. It just wasn't executed right.
With the principle of it is that the VA has got so much regulations in terms of like the United States Code, the CFR, everything. You got to go by the book, and it's so by the book. When I say so by the book, like if there's not a letter that goes out, the most minute chance of somebody getting something, a benefit, they harp on. So like say for example, you filed a claim 20 years ago, but you didn't get the proper notification. They're like, oh, we got to kick this back because he didn't get notified of his rights. But it just that kind of detail goes into the claims process. And that, really frustrates a lot of people. And the bottom line is we can't tell a simple no. You can't just say, no, you don't qualify for that benefit. There's certain like waiting periods and rights, and you have to do due process and shit like that. So that's the back end that really holds it up. In the learning curve to get into that system, to learn the bureaucracy, it's a good year and a half, 2 years before you really get into it. And they try band-aiding a lot of this stuff. You know what I mean? You know how it is. They'll bring in a new system, but they still got the old systems. I mean, we still got the one system. I don't know if they still use it, but for like the GI Bill and education stuff, it dated back to the 50s. I mean, it was called BDN, Benefits Delivery Network. It was literally command prompt shit. I mean, DOS stuff. And they just got rid of that, dude. So it's
kind of like CHCS on medical. It's just like, why am I typing in /test to pull up all the stuff? Where's the click and drop and drag? I mean, we have the technology. Let's do this shit. But no, somebody has to have job security. Somebody has to have coding. And you got to go through 7 different systems just to order a lab on a patient. It's crazy.
Well, in the end, too, if we're really thinking about it, they put these different agencies. They put the DOD and VA as totally separate agencies. Why aren't they all the same agency? That doesn't really make sense to me. Like, why they should really be the same agency. And I know at this point it's never going to happen because, like, we've been harping on, job security, bureaucracy. There's so many jobs, and I got my job is kind of there because of bureaucracy. I'm not saying my job wouldn't be there if we were in a perfect system. We still have to have somebody to evaluate the claims, but I mean, like the way they do it. I mean, it's what can I do as a guy? I can't say, oh, this needs to go. It's a system. The process changes. You can't just snap your fingers and change.
I need you to go into the system and look at my claim and get that shit done.
We'll talk off.
Let's just move this to the front. Yep, looks like 100% to me.
Expedite. I'll put all the expediters on there. Over 85. Asbestosis. He's subject to Agent Orange. All right, click.
Burn pit. I am part of the registry, so.
The burn pit is gonna it's gonna be a lot of fake people getting benefits. Now, there's if you look back to the 1930s, look way back to the 1930s. Back in the 30s, the country was not doing really well. And then coming up in the 30s, if we're continuing the same path, the country might not be doing any well either. But back in the 1930s, what they did, guys like me and you, really old guys, Civil War vets, they married them off to these young broads because like it was the only guaranteed income at the time. So, dude, there was a bunch of 85, 90-year-old Civil War vets having kids. The last Civil War vet child actually didn't die until like last year died. It was literally Civil War vet. Isn't that wild?
So just benefits the entire time.
Because she had, there's something wrong with her. She was like, whatever, disabled child or whatever. But she got benefits because the guy's Civil War service. But he died in like 1930, and that all them 90 years she was getting. It wasn't much. I don't even know what it was, but it's crazy. Yeah, probably $89 a month, something like that. Whatever the she might probably get more money from Social Security, but yeah, it's the bureaucracy can take a while, man. It really can. So if I want anybody to leave this episode with anything, is that if you're doing anything with the government, the post office, the Social Security Administration, the VA, DOD, any of that stuff, Department of Treasury, IRS, just wait and be patient. You got to have infinite patience. If you know what you're doing, you talk to the right people,
sit and wait.
You're gonna have to wait. It's a thing of patience, man. It's all about patience. Well, I'd like to thank Groovy Squirrel for coming out today for this awesome episode. Tomorrow is the 3rd. Wait, today's the 2nd. Tomorrow's the 3rd. What I got coming up for tomorrow? We got I don't have anything coming up for tomorrow yet, so I'll figure out the plan for tomorrow. But thanks everybody for joining out. Appreciate it. And Groovy, as always, appreciate it, man. Check out Groovy if you haven't already. He's a good guy.
Yep, have a good one.
All right, we'll talk to you guys later.